I haven't posted in a while. I think last June was probably, early June was probably the last video that I posted. Also in early June, I mentioned that I was working on developing an online core exam prep class. At the time, originally, I was thinking I would just take what I normally do in a classroom, face to face type of class, and make some videos and do it that way. But I looked at some other people's classes online, didn't like what I was seeing, and I realized what I was going to do was going to be a lot like their classes, which wasn't that great, honestly, not to be putting anybody down. So I realized that what you do in a classroom face to face is not going to work online. I didn't want to be one of these guys that was just sitting in front of the camera reading notes to you. I wanted it to have a little bit more visual appeal, a little bit more, hit a little harder. The harder the material hits, the more impactful it is, the more likely you are to remember it. The more pictures that are used, for example, the more likely you are to remember the material and not have to go through it over and over and over again. Yeah, there'll be some repeating that you'll need to do. You won't be able to watch a video once and have it down pat. You'll probably need to review the videos. Speaking of videos, I'm going to end up having about 80 modules. Each module will include a video, so there'll be over, again, in the vicinity of 80 videos when I'm done. Right now, I've done 42. I'm not going to post any of them until I have everything done. I don't want to put a partial class out there. I want to get everything completed, everything ready to go, so that people who are interested in the class can go in and take the class and not be sitting around waiting, where the hell are the other videos? I want to have it all ready to go. It's going to be a couple of more months. Again, right now, like I said, I've done 42. And let me show you the source for the material in these modules and in these videos. It's the domain published by the CCO. This domain is basically an outline of the topics that are covered on the core exam. And I'm going to have at least one module for each of the specific areas. We have domain site 1, then we have understand elements that affect ground stability. Big issue. I have multiple modules that deal with the issue of ground stability. And I think I have a couple of one of the examples up here: ground conditions, reduce bearing pressure, improve bearing capacity. That's just one of the ground condition modules that are going to be in the class. Each of the videos, but let me say it this way: the videos are not going to be longer than 20 minutes. Many of them will only be 10 minutes, maybe some 5 minutes. I want to give you chunks of information in a video, a little bit at a time. Nobody can. It's hard for anybody to sit and listen continually for more than about 15 or 20 minutes. After 15 or 20 minutes, we start losing focus. We start daydreaming. Mind starts wandering. So I'm breaking it down into smaller video chunks. That's the reason for, again, all the modules that we're going to have. Again, it's going to be about 80 modules when we're done. Of the 42 that I've completed so far, here are 14 of them, just to give you an idea of what will be available in the class when it is completed. Crane carriers and stability factors. I'm not going to read any of this to you right now, but it talks about the different crane types and the stability factors associated with each of those crane types. Material that I've used to develop these modules is taken from the sources recommended by the CCO. The sources that the CCO uses to develop their test questions are the sources that I'm using to develop this class and all these different modules. One of the concepts we need to be familiar with is leverage, crane leverage versus load leverage. I've got several modules, videos related to leverage. just to give you a glimpse. Here's another leverage related module. Again, everything goes back to the topics on this outline. Now, I will be throwing in some additional best practices, and I'll do my best to let you know that these are additional best practices. These are not likely to be seen on the exam. And when you get to that material where I say, okay, this isn't going to be on the exam, you can skip that if you want to. I've had over 20 years in the industry, ran into a lot of best practices with Kiewit and some of the other companies I've worked with, and I share some of that with you. That's really above and beyond the core exam material. All right, I think that pretty much covers it. Just wanted to give you an update on where I was developing the core exam class. Should be a couple of more months before I'm done, before the snow flies. In Oklahoma, snow flies in November around Thanksgiving, usually when we have our first snow, and that's my goal, is to have the class online by Thanksgiving. So about halfway there right now.